I want to welcome everyone to this caucus. If you are new to this caucus, we're very excited that you're here with us today to really push forward tourism in the state of Connecticut. It's a great economic driver.
Provide equitable and inclusive accessibility to funding, to create a sustained and consistent funding stream, because right now it fluctuates and it's unpredictable. Develop an effective tourism brand for Connecticut. And the need for more synergy between arts, culture, and tourism, because they are interconnected but sometimes operate in silos. I had recently been appointed to CT Meetings, which is the Connecticut's meeting, convention, and sporting event. I just want to make sure everybody knows what a great resource they are, because I've learned so much about this organization. They are the organization that helps to recruit conventions and sporting events to Connecticut. Hand it over to your new co-chair, Representative John Michael Parker.
Thank you, Representative Orr. Thanks for your leadership of this group. The point of today's meeting, because we want to share the incredible work that the industry has been doing, led by these trio of advocacy organizations at Connecticut Arts Alliance, Connecticut Humanities, and Connecticut Tourism Coalition, to come up with a legislative proposal that we can all get behind. Jason Mancini, Dr. Mancini from Connecticut Humanities, to introduce the consortium and jump into your presentation.
Great. Thanks, John Michael. I really appreciate your service, and Representative Bohr, Senator Summers, thank you very much. And thank all of you for being here and contributing to the health and vibrancy of our sector. I'm making this presentation on behalf of my colleagues, Brett Thompson from the Connecticut Arts Alliance and Frank Burns from the Connecticut Tourism Coalition. What we're looking for in the sector. We've spent the better part of the last year building on this roadmap in terms of advocacy moving forward and the kind of funding that we really need to sustain the sector. We are an aggregation of over 1,000 organizations and cultural attractions across the state. We represent over 13% of Connecticut's gross state product, or $40 billion. And we are direct or indirectly employing over 175,000 people. Our vision is a healthy, vibrant, and diverse cultural sector strengthened by robust tourism marketing that attracts visitors, businesses, spurs economic growth, and supports a strong and growing workforce. It's really important that we think about the way that the state investments in recent years have really galvanized the sector. Is an investment of $58.5 million that people in our communities want meaningful, reliable, and equitable funding. Increase the overall funding investment in arts, culture, and tourism. We feel this is the right time. We have the right momentum. Our arts, culture, and tourism sectors are working together now for the first time, and the timing is right for this investment.
The goals of this caucus.
A $30.7 million investment in Connecticut Humanities. We wanted to make sure that we are investing in our digital infrastructure, as well as connecting with our K-12 educators and students who really struggled through the pandemic. Part of the importance of the Cultural Fund has been that we are able to collect a tremendous amount of data to demonstrate the value of the state investment. And we feel like we've been very productive in this. We've had amazing partners with the Connecticut Office of the Arts who have worked closely with us in a public-private partnership. Our colleagues nationally, this is seen as very much a model for how government should work with the private sector. In the investment structure there, and some important returns on investment as well. Consistent and sustained state funding, building on our past successes. So this is how the funding breaks down for that $58.5 million, with $25 million allocation for the Office of Tourism for statewide marketing and infrastructure. We're looking to continue the success of the Cultural Fund with a $17.5 million investment that will continue to be administrated by Connecticut Humanities in partnership with the Connecticut Office of the Arts. In an effort to not alienate existing line items, we've maintained all existing arts, culture, and tourism earmarks. So we've got $8 million preserved for those line items, so they will not see their earmarks touched. In addition, Connecticut Humanities and Connecticut Office of the Arts are looking at increasing our administrative support, but also maintaining our competitive grant lines that really improve the overall health and direction of the sector. If we look at the trajectory of statewide funding for arts and culture, you can see some significant shifts here, from a history of underinvestment in the sector to pandemic-related investment to what we hope will sustain us in the future. These are important and transformative moments in our funding ecosystem. These are important and transformative moments in our funding ecosystem to recognize the ways in which we can really be the tide that raises all the boats in Connecticut. As an example of the kinds of successful programs we've implemented, our statewide partners in this infrastructure initiative. One with the Connecticut League of History Organizations is a program called Museum Makeover, which is working with smaller museums to help them to tell better stories, sort of these hidden treasures in our Connecticut communities, and tell these stories to the public through professional development and exhibit support. Our partners with the Connecticut Council for the Social Studies, we've been partnering with them to work closely on the Connecticut Social Studies frameworks, which are legislatively mandated now. Certainly looking at the inclusive curriculum and building the kinds of resources and scaffolding for education in our state. Just a couple of vignettes here. Stony Creek Museum in Branford, in New London Landmarks with an oral history program, Times Fool Company, and the impact that this funding has really had. So, this is a high-level overview, but, we're looking out at a long horizon line. One of the things Connecticut Humanities is focused on is our Connecticut's role in America 250, which is the anniversary of nationhood. We'll have our second commission meeting next week. So I'm very excited about the way that arts, culture, and tourism can really feed into the sort of energy of nationhood, but also our civic pride and the value we bring to Connecticut through a particular history here that feeds directly into that. And a little bit farther out is Hartford 400. We hope that we'll continue to build the strength and capacity of the sector. For the representatives and senators on the call to support this roadmap bill, reach out to your legislators and let them know that this is the kind of initiative that should be supported with them, so they know the value of these dollars and how they're being spent.
So thanks, Jason, for kind of leading the charge there and presenting this. I'd like to just reiterate that this is a partnership between the three sectors. I think it's the first time that we've really come together and thought about the needs of the entire community.
It's going to create jobs. It's going to increase the revenues to the state. It's also going to improve the quality of life of people living in Connecticut. This is really a good business decision. Again, if you kind of look at the return on investment, and there's a lot of data to support it, it's the right thing to do, and now's the time to do it.
We will entertain one question from the Honorable Chair of the Commerce Committee, who's going to be a real partner of ours going forward. Representative Meskers.
Certainly the State Office of the Arts and Connecticut Humanities have federal funding that comes in for operating support, and some pandemic relief funding as well. On a limited basis.
If folks have questions, obviously we can answer those.
Share that our federal funding dollars are small. So for the Office of the Arts, that would be $850,000 for fiscal year 23, less in the private.
And certainly talking with our counterparts at the federal level to make sure that we are seeing adequate federal dollars coming into the state.
Okay, great.
So with that, I want to introduce the folks, our partners over at the Department of Economic and Community Development.
A person at the table providing information to this group of people as they begin to work together in a way that is historic, in my opinion. The money that we have to give out, which we have sort of jurisdiction over, is kind of a small piece of the pie. It ends up being about $2.5 million a year, and we cannot use that or only a very small portion of the federal dollars for any staffing. So all of that money comes in and goes out the door in a programmatic sense, in grants, in programs that we offer, like Volunteer Lawyers for the Arts, etc. Is that the Office of the Arts and the State Historic Preservation Office has begun to work very deeply with Connecticut Humanities, and we've always worked with our partners at the Connecticut Arts Alliance, and their capacity has grown that we can work very effectively with our tourism partners next door with a whole new philosophy towards the way we approach tourism at the state that's yielding tons and tons of amazing results. We have an ecosystem that we've developed. We have a partnership where we respect each other and we trust each other, and we ask and confront the hard questions. 1.497298, that is the state of that investment in the Connecticut Office of the Arts. In fiscal year 2020, we gave out 713 grants for a total of just under $7 million. We do have priorities. We have a brand new strategic plan. We haven't done a formal launch, but we expect to get that off the ground in February. Most important is that we're putting people at the heart of the arts, and that we're supporting equity. And really, we're looking at a community-wide effort. We want to strengthen communities so that they understand how to use artists and arts organizations for their own economic development, to create really creative communities. The fiscal year 23 Good to Great program, but also data collection. We have been collecting data, and Connecticut Humanities has been processing data. We have been collecting data, and Connecticut Humanities has been processing data. So it is my pleasure to introduce my colleague, Noelle Stevenson.
Thanks, Liz. Noelle, are you on?
Thank you, Liz. Appreciate that. Good afternoon, everyone. We'll show you a brief film on our 2022 tourism recap. We'll look at briefly competitive state tourism budgets and obviously our key tourism initiatives that require budget in order for doing and keep that momentum.
Connecticut tourism is looking pretty different these days. Edgier, more energetic, more diverse, and inclusive. Tourism is also looking more valuable than ever. Connecticut now generates more direct tourism revenue than vacation land itself. Driving our new direction? A new tourism director to position Connecticut as a world-class destination with an edgier, more inclusive vibe, including global travel industry sales, groups and meetings, sports tourism, LGBTQ plus tourism, cultural tourism, multicultural tourism, and heritage tourism. We're rolling out our new tourism brand and related brands everywhere.
I did just get a text from Noelle. The fire alarm went off in her building and she has been asked to evacuate. We're also very pleased that CT Visit has received over 7.1 million visits in calendar 22. This is a really incredible number that is making us by far the most trafficked tourism site in New England, and in fact puts us in more or less competitive range with some of the big tourism states. We're not that far off of New York, Florida, and California. We are punching way above our weight. Then, we're all very interested in what our competitors are up to with their budgets. As you can see with the orange bars, these are our neighboring states and other states' tourism budgets compared to ours. Tourism, Connecticut is always at the far right, so we are, lower than our competitive neighbors. And we thought it was interesting to show that we are also well below other states that, like us, do not have a huge population and are not well known for tourism. So just, Connecticut actually has a tourism revenues that exceed vacation land, which is Maine. So, we really are a tourism destination. We really do have a vibrant tourism offering. The new programs that we have put into place: global travel sales, groups and meetings, sports tourism and cultural tourism, multicultural tourism, LGBTQ plus tourism, and heritage tourism, greatly increased our participation in trade shows. So that has been fantastic, both nationally and internationally. And we have created more collateral materials, new display materials, et cetera, just, terrific stuff. So if we were to keep or increase our budget, we would be able to better saturate these new markets. So we've had more TV, some really dazzling installations in Moynihan and Grand Central Station in New York. We have also launched a revised CT Visit, now in keeping with the new brand for tourism, which remains a jewel for us since it is by far the most trafficked in New England. We would like to have the budget to lure big festivals or, for instance, a projection environmental graphic display that might be a tourism attraction and bring in more travelers from further away. So those are the highlights that we wanted to hit today.
We've come up with a proposal that does a lot of things that we maybe thought before wasn't possible. Traditionally, we had really underinvested in arts, culture, and tourism. Because of some issues related to the pandemic, there was an opportunity for significant increased investment, and all of this great work came out of that.
And the 8 million arts, culture, and tourism earmarks, are those for historical ones? There were a number of museums, particularly the children's museums, that received direct local funding.
But this is really an investment in Connecticut and our future. It's an economic powerhouse, and it provides just wonderful opportunities for the arts, for tourism, for our neighbors, for people to come to Connecticut to see what we're all about. I want to just thank you all for being here on a Friday afternoon. When Bill's...
But this is an opportunity for us to support the entire sector with enough money to really create a lasting impact from the state's investment. So